While watching the Metal Gear Solid streams, I was hit with a stray thought. I had recently posted my last marble ranking video, and I thought it was fairly good. The rankings turned out well, the video turned out good, and I was finally done with it all. But what about everyone else? I threw together a Google form and pushed it out onto Reddit, Undercourt, within the hour. On the form was every single marble added up to that point, plus one more addition that I'll get to. As of writing the script, it's been a little under a week, and I'm ready to tackle the results. With 332 different voters and 135 different listed shows, that gave me a shocking 15,762 votes all across the form. The form asked you to rank a show from 1 star to 10 star, and I was then given the averages, and I'm able to see how many people voted for which stars on certain shows. And, I can't just go in order. To make it interesting, I can't just, start at the top. Batman Ninja got so many. That would be boring, okay? So, we'll focus on some interesting points. Well, let's start with the average. The average score for the entire survey was 6.1 out of 10. Slightly better than Mario Odyssey. In this video, I'll discuss the interesting stuff. If you just want the results, the sheet is in the description. So let's start with the elephant in the room. Scrandle. The Scrandle meta changed recently, with the introduction of a brand new item, Nothing. As it turns out, the average score for Nothing on Scrandle is around 25 to 30%. This means that anything less than that is worth less than nothing. So you can use this as a guide. Would you rather pay and eat the food, or would you rather have nothing? So, I added a nothing option to the form. I did this for 2 reasons. First of all, it is already a marble. It's the only gimmick marble in the form, but it's still a marble. Second, it's really funny, and I'd like to know what shows can be considered worse than nothing. Nothing, with 180 votes, landed at an average of 5.69. Obviously, most votes for either 1 or 10, and a few for 5, but this averages out. We can take this to mean that anything with a score lower than 5.69 is worse than nothing. The opposite is then also true. If it scores higher than nothing, it's worth something. Also at 5.69 is Jinro the Wolf Brigade with a total of 55 votes. If this means it's equal to nothing, if it's better or worse than nothing, I'm not quite sure. So let's start with the amount of votes some shows got. Some shows are obviously more well known than others, so obviously a show like Death Note or Attack on Titan is going to get more votes than Master of Martial Arts. Overall, the most voted for show was Death Note. It had 251 votes. This is compared to 2nd place and 3rd place, Attack on Titan and Mob Psycho, which had 240 and 235. In total, only 14 shows got more than 200 votes, listed here. The least voted for shows, on the other hand, were all the way down in the 30s. The least voted for shows were tied between Avataro Sentai Don Brothers, which, I don't even know what this is, and Kazeno Shoujo Emily. Both were at 31 votes. In total, 16 shows received less than 50 votes. But let's talk about what actually matters, okay? The number, the score, the ranking. And it's here you realize that this list fucking sucks. The shows that I consider the best on the list aren't even rated that high. Orb on the movements of the Earth. 6.6 out of 10? What? Legend of the Galactic Heroes is at a 7.4, which it's fine. But come on, 7.5? We'll start with the bottom 10. Shout out to Persona 5 at 11. The 10th worst is thankfully Master of Martial Arts. I've said my piece about this. It sucks. It's really bad. It's fucking porn slop. At 9th, we have Dinosaur King. I'll be honest, I don't know anything about this, but it's rated lower than a 3.5, so it's gotta suck. At 8th, we have DN Angel. You'll notice that the lower ranked shows usually have very few votes. At 7th worst, we have, the vending machine anime. I don't think this is actually like a 3.4 out of 10. And I prefer it over, a lot of stuff above it. But, I get it. The vending machine anime, that's just an automatic one. At 6th, we have Key the Metal Idol. It has a good opening song, but I don't know anything about it. At 5th, we have Kazeno Shoujo Emily. Nobody has seen this. Absolutely heartbreaking 4th place here. we have Those Who Hunt Elves, and I thought this show was funny. It's better than the Vending Machine anime, it's better than Master of Martial Arts, and it's definitely better than Chargeman Ken, which somehow got to 12th place. 12th worst. How is that not? Come on. At third, we have a DNA Squared DNA 2. I'm not gonna mourn this placing. It kind of sucks. At second, we have Nakaimo. Who knows what this is about? The same with the worst rated marble in the entire race, Avataro Sendai Dawn Brothers. What is this, right? What is this? So let's instead look at the top 20 highest rated marbles, since this side of the list will probably be a bit more interesting. We'll start with Free Run with 7.73. The highest rated anime of all time sits on this list at 20th. For me, I had this at 5th place in my ranking. 19th is Chainsaw Man, which is, it's a good show. It's a better manga, but is this manga bias possibly affecting the ratings? I've heard good things about the movie, so who knows. I haven't seen Chainsaw Man, I've only read it. 18th, Odd Taxi. Great show, sitting at 7.8. I think almost anything rated higher than a 7 on this list is worth watching. Actually, I'm gonna pull that down. Anything higher than a 6.8 is worth watching, because somehow Pluto was done dirty with 6.8. How did that happen? 17th is Ping Pong. I haven't seen it, but as far as I know, it's directed by the same guy who did the Tatami Galaxy, which is rated at 7.3. So I'm pretty sure it's deserving of the spot. I've heard great things. 16th is Monster at 7.8, a whole point above Pluto. I think these two are about equal. Maybe Monster's a bit better. 15th is Dungeon Meshi, or Delicious in Dungeon. I'm happy it got pretty high. I really love this show. 14th is JoJo Part 4. On the forum, I separated the JoJo parts instead of asking these weird matchups like, oh, do you like Part 2, Part 4? Do you like Part 6, Part fucking 5? I don't even know what the marbles are. It's a mess. But overall, the public's rating of the parts are Part 1, Part 3, Part 6, Part 5, Part 2, then Part 4. 13th is Ghost in the Shell. It's iconic, I haven't seen it. 12th is the all Miyazaki movies marble. Obviously this includes bangers like Spirited Away, Kiki's Delivery Service, Castle of Cagliostro. There's a lot of good stuff in there, okay? 11th is Madoka. It's the only entry in the entire list to have a perfectly even score of an 8 out of 10. This one is completely deserved. It's a great show. 10th is Look Back. Not surprising, it's an excellent movie. 9th and 8th, this is funny. It's End of Evangelion and Neon Genesis Evangelion. They landed right next to each other. Me personally, I prefer End of Eva, but the public just slightly prefers the show to the movie. 7th is Cowboy Bebop. Again, it's not surprising, it has a lot of votes. It's very beloved, it'll rate high. At 6th, we have Vinland Saga. I'm really happy to see this one so high up. For me, it's fighting with Orb for second best marble for me, so good to see it. At 5th, we have Hunter x Hunter. I'm surprised and not surprised to see it so high up. Not because it's bad, but because it's a battle shonen. My Hero and Jujutsu Kaisen both landed at a 5 and 6, way further down the list. But, Hunter x Hunter is just better, so fair. At 4th, we have Avatar: The Last Airbender of all things. I guess it's hard to hate, and a lot of people have seen it. It's not really isn't really an anime. At 3rd, we have Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. The ex-king of my anime list is close to the champion of this one. Not quite. At 2nd is Satoshi Kon's 4 movies and show. Out of these, I've only seen Perfect Blue, which was incredible, so I don't doubt that the rest of them are fantastic as well. And the king of the list, the number 1 show, is Mob Psycho 100. It's completely deserved, fantastic characters, animation, art, it does everything beautifully. But obviously, everyone is wondering, where is Steins Gate? Steins Gate has a lot of 10s, it has a lot of 8s, but it also has a lot of 1s, which averages it out to being a 6.9 out of 10. Nice. A few last notes here. The most beloved Persona adaptation were the Persona 3 movies, which I agree with. The most feared marble, Oremo, didn't do that bad. Episode 528 of One Piece got a 4.47, which isn't as bad as a lot of the others. The Higurashi anime may be of some interest. I really, really love Higurashi. The visual novel, the anime, absolutely garbage. And the original Higurashi anime got a 6.63. And, that's higher than Penguin Drum, Inferno Cop, ReZero, Beastars, a lot of good shows. Somehow below the Higurashi anime. Even below that, Gosotsu is all the way down at a 4.58. I've only seen the first 2 arcs of Go, and, it was fine. I've heard bad stuff, so, it could get worse. If you want the full results, they're in the description.